need to bring it back home, Christian.
Residential. Now it is all commercial, except his home, the house is sold with the corporation separately. It's been used by the Dublin Mayor ever since the Lord Mayor of Dublin is a politically elected official, and he is in office for 1 year only. That's his house, that's where he lives. Beautiful building, great history to it. We have the coat of arms of Dublin underneath the flag, the three castles. The inscription underneath in Latin, translated into English, now we've got the happiness of the city is the obedience of the citizens. The building on the right hand side, St. Anne's Church, a beautiful building, and just across the street is also a beautiful worship. This building has the most stained glass of any church in the city. Here, you also have the Bram Stoker, the creator of Dracula, born in Dublin. he was actually married in that church. He lived behind it. And there is a great bust of him inside on the right hand side of the church. So, now as we go down the street, if you look up the street on the right hand side, you will see the Trinity College building. This is the Irish Parliament. This is the opposite side, that large, beautiful house we saw earlier on. This is where the politicians would attend on a daily basis, except for now the Parliament is closed now because we're waiting for an election. If you like books, guys, up on my left is the oldest bookshop in Dublin, 18th century, Roger's biggest. A fantastic bookstore. You do not need Amazon.com any book you want. I was here last Saturday and a guy walked out with a book almost 4 foot high. And I said, hey, buddy, what's with the book? And he said, it's a long story. I'm getting off next time. So let's take the tour on that right hand side. We now to Trinity College. And as I take the left, you will see the tall steeple of a church called St. Andrew's. At the base of that church, on the street side, is the statue called possibly the most photographed statue here. You'll see many families on the streets the Chinos. This today, now this is the college area. Over this quite small. We do have to move around the whole system, especially on Fridays. It's about a Wednesday, so you can skip it. The building straight in front of me, with the columns, is the first publicly built parliament in the world. That's right, here in Dublin. Let me explain this to you. So, before 1800, Ireland was known as the Kingdom of Ireland. It was ruled by the King of England, but governed by the people from within. The population at that time was 85% Catholic, but 15% Protestant. But it was the Protestant minority who governed because, remember, Catholics could not get jobs in government. Catholics could not vote. And this is where our friend, the statue, Theobald Wolfe, member of the rebellion group, the United Irishmen, he said that arrangement was unjust, it was corrupt, and he planned a rebellion. The rebellion in 1798. Now that rebellion took place, but it failed. It failed miserably, no thanks to the French. But even though it failed, the politicians at that time decided to have a vote, voting whether to stay in Dublin and govern Ireland from within, or whether to go back to London, back to Westminster, and govern from there. That's exactly what they did. 1801, the Elected Union was the last time they did that. It was where now when that happened, everything changed. The economy changed drastically. Instead of Dublin being known as the second most economic city in the British Empire, within a matter of years it became known as the slum capital of Europe. That's because the politicians left. They all had their jobs in London. 570 crews all left. Businesses left because of safety. A high tax on goods, a ban on the exports of wool and whiskey led to the rapid expense. So we're going to swing around, going by the bank building. There is a set of down doors upstairs. You can enter on that. There's an exhibit of one of our famous Irish poets, James Joyce, a Nobel Prize winner for literature. That's also in the street. Now as I take the tour, the building in front of you is a police station. You can see them in the police station. Police station down at the garden and see a pump. And the guardians of police. These are peacekeepers, not necessarily. In 1963, John F. Kennedy stood on those very steps, as did Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Nelson Mandela, and Queen Elizabeth II, all coming here to talk to the Irish people. Left-hand side, top of the street, we have one man coming in here to stop number 8 for this area. Interesting, guys. If you want to see the Book of Kells, this restaurant here on the left corner, used to be the Royal Bank, beautiful building on the inside. But right there, you will get to see the Book of Kells, the last place of the coffee. Irish Sea will be to my right hand side. The area, actually Dublin is built on hills, as you may have seen already. The location where the castle is was like a safe harbour, the merging of two rivers, the main river of the city, the Liffey, and a small river called the Powder. Now where those two rivers merged created a dark pool. In Irish, that's known as Dubh Linn, or dark pool. In Norse, it's actually called Dubh Linn. And with the arrival of the Anglo-Normans in the 12th century, they phonetically anglicised that name, calling it Dubh Linn. That's where we get our name from. Dublin Castle is a great place to visit. Now it's more like a palace than a castle. It required in the 17th century, rebuilt in the shape of a palace. It has been the home of the British Parliament for 70 years. So for 50 of those years, 1.2 acres. If you go here tonight, it's possible to take a guided tour. Guided tours give you access to buildings and otherwise inaccessible. Places like the basement, the state apartments, all very interesting to visit. This is our stop line. Stop line gives you access to the lower floor, right? And the central people library. I highly recommend it. It's a place to visit nice. And then moving away, literally about 100 metres away, we have our stop number 10 for the upper courtyard of Dublin Castle. I'm going to use these traffic lights as a guide to the old medieval town. When I enter through these lights on my left-hand side is the Natural Gates, and the wall of Dublin coming right across the street, heading down to the Gate Brewery. Building on the left-hand side today is known as the City Hall. This is where they have the civic ceremonies, council meetings, previously known as the Wilde, which they currency and parliament transfers. And then, at the top of the street, stop number 10. Looking in to the left, you will see the gateway and Lady Justice. In there, you will get the reception rooms where you can buy a ticket for a guided tour on yourself. Highly recommended these. After stop 10, we will then go towards Christchurch. I usually ask people when you visit these places to take the guided tours. When you do come outside it, examine the grounds and then expand that circle even more, and you will be surprised. Now, as I move away, coming into view, we have the spire of Christchurch. This is an interesting building, guys. This one we see today was built in the 16th and 17th century. It has been nondescript in width and height, 16 meters long. But what we see when we get here, in the foreground, we get to see the base of the original church built by King Henry II in the 12th century. I did say about expanding your area. Go visit this, take a guided tour. They bring you into the crypt, examine the grounds, and when you come outside it, going behind the building, you will see on the pavement many brass temples representing the many artifacts that have been here during excavation. This is you will see an old church. This is the Church of St. Wilde. This is our link to our Anglo-Norman past. Because when the Anglo-Normans were here, they traded across the Irish Sea to the town of Chester, England. The patron saint of Chester is St. Wilde. This is Israel, according to the same year as Chester. If you go around, you see base. Just to let you know, guys, when you do go visit places, we have a bus service about every 20 minutes, so you can download the big bus going on traffic there. Probably pushing your visit. So, coming down these hills, again, I'm going to use these traffic lights as we're going to the city. Going through them, we're going to leave the medieval wall. We do have marker plates here. Then over here in the traffic lights, if you look at the left-hand side, the rustic buildings, the black down point coming down, when it meets the pavement, you can see we've got a metre-high stone slab. There is a map of Dublin on that. That's telling us the location of the wall of Dublin. And it goes right across the street, up the street on our right-hand side. Very soon we'll get to see it. Here in front of us we have the spire. This is the he is here because he had paid a sum of £120,000 in 1820 for a pair of St. Patrick's. You see him on the statue looking at the invoice, scratching his head, thinking, what the hell is the rate? Now it is a great place to visit, guys. It has a choir dating back to the 15th century. The school here says Frederick Building is the choir. You see the sign here since 1330 to the 15th century, and a choir still sings. Then my wife was involved here to the choir, and I was something. I'm not curious as to why she built this office for last night. I sat in the pews, listened to the songs. I said, this is quite good. But why do you come here so often? She said, I love the hymns. I said, do you have a favourite hymn? She said, yeah, Hymn of the Blue James. St. Patrick's, guys. And then we have Benjamin Wilde on my left side. This is a great place to visit, guys. What I like about this one in particular, what has struck a chord with me, is if you ever heard the expression, old soldiers never die, they simply fade away. Now I heard before, I put it in the context, until I visited St. Patrick's, and there it was, right in front of me. It's very, very powerful, very quiet, it's very, very powerful. Left-hand side, we have St. Patrick's Graveyard, and then over here on my left-hand side, we have the oldest library in Dublin and London. Now this, as you can see by the wall, it looks like a castellation. It was a palace at one stage, being the Archbishop of Dublin's palace. At St. Stephen's Green, stop number 7, that shows you a house number 16. That was the house he moved to after he was evicted from here. Now in here you have the oldest library, and they have books in there from the 16th, 17th and 18th century. If you like books, if you like the smell of old books, guys, this is like going into a perfumery. The bookshelves bending with the weight of the books. And even for young people, it's quite interesting. They have these treasure maps. On the treasure map, you have Lego-sized figures. The objective is to find the figure on the shelves and then answer the question on the map. Now, right-hand side, we have a red pinkish building. This is the deanery of St. Patrick's. One of his famous themes is John Swift, the author of Gulliver's Travels. He was a dean of St. Patrick's for over 30 years. In fact, he was born in a house not too far from Dublin Castle, which they demolished and made into a car park. They obeyed his own order. But he had established abbeys, and there was the abbots of the abbeys who they did oppose the civilization, they did oppose law and order, and a tax, a contribution, which eventually went back to the king. Our next stop, guys, is for Teeling's Whisky Distillery. Now, Teeling's are not as popular as Jamestown, although they've been here in the city over 26 years, one of the longest serving distillers here in the city. Now, I'm not a whiskey drinker, but I'm not so sure. But I did mention this to some people last week. I had a couple in from New York City who were actually heading to Jameson's, and I told them teams instead of going instead on Saturday. And I met them on the Sunday. They had a great story about whiskey, a great story about Teelings. They did a tour, and they did a whiskey tasting. They said it was beautiful. And they brought Teelings whiskey as a gift. But they said on Saturday night, they really decided and they drank themselves. Tony said at 7 a.m. Sunday morning they woke up fresh as a voice, kind of no nausea, no headaches. And he said by 8 o'clock they're sitting in the front row of the nearest Catholic church getting mass at 8 a.m. I said, well, it's Sunday, that's what people do. I said, yeah, but we're doing. Feelings here on the left hand side, guys. Now, interesting enough, as you can see, the area is getting built up. We have a planning board, and they decide what happens here in the area. So where we have teaming on the left-hand side, the right-hand side, they build student accommodation. Be very strong. Okay, go to teams. Straight across the way. At that point, also. Medieval Dublin in the 15th century guys was 1 square mile. Population less than 60. As the city expanded, because it no longer time, the old walls were taken down and the material used for building other structures. When we go through these lights on the left hand side, we will see a segment that is coming out from Dublin Castle. This is not the full height, but it is the width, 1.5 metres wide. The walls are 1.3 metres wide. And that wall will come across the street, down the hill to the right hand side, and then cuts across towards the front of the church of St. Olaf. We are currently on the highest point of Dublin, 85 metres above sea level. Church on my right hand side was the tallest steel I did mention the Abbey of St. Thomas. There is no trace of the Abbey left. On its former site is a church now called the Church of St. Lazarus. It's the Anglican church. On the site, as we go forward, looking to the right, it's dedicated to the land called Robert Bennett. By the Irishman. And although he didn't fight in 1798, he did go to Europe in 1801, trying to raise an army from Germany, Spain, an army to come back to Ireland and fight against Portugal. He failed that task. He came back to Dublin in 1803, where he tried to attack Dublin Castle. He was captured, charged with high treason. Interesting, when he was captured, he had on his person, he had a letter from his fiancée, a lady called Sarah Curran. And in the letter, she had spoke about the rebellion he was planning, although she hadn't signed the letter. The prosecution had said that the person who wrote the letter should also be charged by treason. So rather than telling on who she was, he decided to plead guilty at the first opportunity, avoiding the chance of exposing who his fiancée was, thereby saving his life. And by pleading guilty, he lost his life. But what's interesting too as well, his fiancée's father was a solicitor. He could defend him. He refused, and his own father was the city surgeon. What's interesting. He'll tell you straight up, that's a rude thing to do, it's offensive. What you do ask for is a takeaway container. At this junction, if you look at the line and take a left, you will see the Boundary Bar. This is a very clever architectural design because the glass structure in comparison to the building is equal to the cream you have on a pint of Guinness. Now guys, this is our stock 15. As I mentioned, you can download the this Dublin map and practice there. For 20 minutes, stock 15. Where we're at. If you are going to leave me now, our boss has asked me to ask you, our favourite passengers, that if you do use the social media platforms like Advisor or Google or Facebook, give a shout out to Big Bus Dublin. For any of the drivers you have today. My name is James, you want to put a name to the driver? And to make it easy for you, all of the drivers on Friday are called James. And tomorrow. Stop 15 guys for the Guinness Storehouse. Now the line looks very, very tame, but when you go inside it, it's like Disney. You go down a basement, you go to the top floor of the stairs, you go down another basement. You will go. Anybody for Guinness? Yep. Take your time, no rush. Now guys, there's a small smell. This, the storehouse used to be the fermentation room. I live 2 miles from here, born and bred, and what's missing is the aroma. They use a new charcoal filter that they use a charcoal filter to take away the smell. All they manage to do is take away the character of the area. Here's Lyons was an Irishman from this area. He emigrated to Kentucky in the US as a biochemist. Now he got involved in the animal feed business and became extremely wealthy. Going back to Dublin in 2013, he decided to open a business. The only business to open is the whiskey distillery. It's the heritage of the area. At that same time, the church was being sold as a 7 million over 18 months. But no sooner had he bought it, when the Dublin City Council told him it was a listed building, he would have to use a state aid, which he did. Took 5 years, and 23 million euros later. He said it wasn't about the money. He had the money. It was the heritage he wanted to get involved in. Now, what's interesting too is that 9 members of his extended family that he didn't know about are actually buried in the church grounds. It's an interesting visit, guys. We can see headstones here. There's actually over 700 headstones located there. Although the records show there are over 100,000 people buried on that site, because the church, built in the 18th century, was built upon a 15th century cemetery. An interesting fact, guys, that is a Protestant church. You can see straight ahead of me, this is a sundial. Catholics could not get buried in Protestant churches. So what they would do with their loved ones is they would walk around the sundial and then place the body at the gates of the cemetery, hoping a friendly grave digger would inter their loved one. And they would. They would have an open grave, put the body inside it, cover it with soil, and then on the funeral property, they bury it. So the records show 100,000 people buried, but in fact, there could be a lot more. And they say that's where the real explode comes from. This train going in front of me, guys, this is our cross-city train, is known as Luas, L-U-A-S. Luas is the Irish for speed. And look at that puppy go. Do not blink. Now our next stop coming up is for the Royal Hospital Command. As we go down the hill, there is a set of black gates and a high wall. This is St. Patrick's Psychiatric Hospital, founded by Jonathan Swift, Dean Swift. In 1745, he had left £12,000 in his will for the establishment of the hospital, based on what he witnessed himself in London, how badly treated people were with mental health issues. Some were caged in hospitals, some were sent to prison, and some were sent to workhouses. He did not want the same for the Irish, so he established the hospital and also the matter of care, more empathy, more understanding. This was the first in Ireland. It was one of the first in Europe, the foundation of the Irish Psychiatric Services. So heading down the hill, we'll be going to stop 17. This is for the Royal Hospital in Maynham. It's also the Art Museum, the Irish Museum of Modern Art. This building is quite interesting, guys. It's the oldest classical building in the city, built by King Charles II in the early 18th century. It was a former home for British soldiers, a retirement home for British soldiers. Now in there you will get to see their medals on display. You can read their personal stories, and you can see the replica rooms in which they would have lived in. This precedes the London Chelsea Winter by 2 years. It's also the access route to the Maynham Jail. The Maynham Jail was synonymous with the execution of the leaders in 1916, although the jail itself was opened in 1796. As a result of the French Revolution, the authorities here fearing the Irish themselves might also impose the jail. So you can visit the jail today, guys. You can do a tour of the jail. You can get a ticket online or go to the ticket office. If you cannot get a ticket, there is a museum right next door of it. It's free and it's open all the time. In there they have an extended exhibit called the Last Words. And these are the letters written by the leaders in 1916, letters they wrote home to their families the night before their executions. One in particular is very poignant, letters of a man called Joseph Mary Plunket, whose dying wish was to marry his childhood sweetheart, and he did only hours before his execution. His letters are on display, as are his wedding rings. Now, if you like music, there is a great song out there called Grace, sung by the only man who could sing it with the emotion. Nearby is the jail. Even closer still, we had a place called St. James's Woodhouse. The woodhouse was where people who were vacant or beggars were sent from the city. And it's telling us that the people in Dublin in the 18th century had no time for people who were ill, mentally or physically, or beggars who wanted it out of sight, out of mind, out of the city. and into the country. And this is why all of these buildings are located here. Now we are currently on the south side at the moment. We're going to head over the river, over to the dark side. We go around the front of the building, we'll see the train station. It's very unusual to have this type of architecture for a train station. Really is beautiful. Even on the inside, the rocks are flowing. We'll be heading over to our stop number 19. Stop 19 gives us access to a bar called Nancy Hand's. Nancy's is an old Victorian style bar. And you can get a free case of Guinness, which are big bus saying free case of Guinness. You know yourself, as opposed to saying as a free for lunch, because you might have one free. Amazing how many monasteries and monks are really here. 1821 on the bridge commemorates the visit of King George IV and Scott 19 who wished to visit Francis. Okay, going to move on. We're going to head into the Phoenix Park and then we will make our way back in towards the city. The Phoenix Park is the largest urban lawn park in Europe. This was opened by King Charles II. Although I don't think at that time that was his plan. He wanted to do a wall in his honor when he had introduced Grouse and Beer. Now in the park today we have over 450 people here around. And he said that some of these are the direct descendants of the king's stock. The hunting lodge that he used was known as the Vice River Lodge. That building today is used by our Irish president. It's called the Horace on Dublin, the president's home. His neighbour across the street is the US ambassador to Ireland. At the moment it is Kathy Cronin. When we go into the park, the road we'll travel on is the longest road in Dublin. It's 4 miles long from entrance to exit. And we'll pass by the second largest obelisk in the world, the largest in Europe. This is the monument dedicated to the Duke of Wellington, the Irishman who defeated Napoleon, the Wellington Monument. It was built over a 3-year period. It would have been taller except for built on the base of this bit of rock. The cannons are firearm facilities on certain occasions. The military coming down from that old hunting lodge, making their way in towards the city. As you see that there by that side. The image on the base of the monument are scenes from the you say that the view is from the wet at that time. Now I am going to do a turn around at this roundabout. As I complete my turn, you will have Dublin Zoo or the Royal Zoological Gardens, because it's also a botanic garden. As it really is a fantastic place to go to. Probably the best zoo in Europe. The enclosures are as close as possible to the natural habitats of the animals inside. Dublin Zoo has a great lion breeding program. 45 years of breeding lions in captivity and then releasing them out on various conservation programs. Now, if you are going to visit the park or indeed the zoo, there is no physical bus stop here. We do have a recess that we use, and it's right across from the monument, right next to the People's Park here on my left-hand side. As I approach, you will see some palm trees here on the left. Looking closely, you will see the only statue in the city of the Invisible Man. Have a look there, guys.
Oh, there's palm trees. Where is it?
Yeah. And you'll be for the park. The building itself, previously known as the Wilde Gardens, built in the 17th is number 23. Moving along nicely. Number 23 is for the James Whiskey Distillery. Now, I did mention before the large number of distillers here in the city. It's pretty quiet at this stage. Now there's only three actually working. You have Teelings, you have Roll and Co, they're right beside Guinness, and also the newest Pierce lines. The John Jameson Distillery is no longer used here. This is the facility he uses for his museum and whiskey tasting. They've moved down south, down to County Cork, a town called Midland. But this museum is only about a 5-minute walk from our bus stop, the area known as Smithfield. Smithfield used to be a farmer's market, fortunate until about 6 years ago after an incident with a pedestrian and a horse, obviously arguing over whiskey. The area was closed down as a marketplace and now being gentrified into bars, restaurants, hotels and cinemas. Actually, if you're going to stay in the area, there's a great bar here at the Cathedral. Cathedral is a traditional Irish bar that has no TV, newspapers. Stop 23 for the Jameson Distillery. Okay guys, so this is stop 23. I'm going to make our way down to stop 24. Now on the way down, as I get down to this junction, on the right hand side you will see the spare tower of that old medieval church. You'll also see a large Irish flag outside a premises. The bar is known as the Brazen Head. The Brazen Head will brazenly tell us they are the oldest pub in Ireland. Where in fact the Guinness Book of Records tell us that the oldest pub in Ireland is in the Midlands, a place called Sean's Bar. Thanks guys. So we'll go straight on, heading to stop 24. Stop 24 will give us access to the city centre, to Dublin Castle, to Lease Street, to Temple Bar, Trinity College, or even motorcycle shopping. It's also close to our ticket office where you can get tickets for events in the city, or even leaving the city. If you want to go to Belfast, all the west of the just looking up at Brazen Eyes on the right, you'll see that large flag outside of Brazen Head. It is a great place to visit. Although it's not the oldest bar, it is where the rebels met in 1728, planning their attacks against Dublin Castle. And we all know planning attacks in a bar never works out too well. Now you can visit that building, guys, and in the entrance, it's like a castle entrance. On the right-hand side there's a room, and in that room there are components from 1798. Empty, obviously nothing in them, but you get a sense of what it looked like all those years ago. So we'll continue on straight, as I mentioned, coming to stop 24. On the way there is a courthouse on my left-hand side, another courthouse. This is called the Four Courts, although there are 11 courtrooms in here. And we get to see the statues on the top. The centre statue is that of Moses, the only statue of Moses in Ireland. Why is it there? Well, it's Moses the lawgiver, and no better place to have him than on a court building. This building itself was used extensively during the 1916 rebellion. The rebels basing themselves here, stopping the advance of the British from the Royal Barracks further down the river. Through these lights, looking up the street, you will see the green dome of the City Hall. Sorry guys, just wait a minute. I'm trying to talk, and if you're talking, the people behind you cannot hear me. So we'll be getting off in about 2 minutes. So just hold your powder. So when we get out here, guys, going across the bridge, look up the street to the right hand side, and you will see the green dome of the City Hall. And then look down the streets to my left-hand side. Although that street is now all commercialised, all of the buildings were previously residential, because when the city began to develop, that street was the first one opening, giving access from the south side to the north side. I'll go through slowly, look down to the left, see these former residential homes, and then look at the right. That's the view they would have had as the city developed in the 17th century. On our way now, we're starting 24, and we have the iconic Halfpenny Bridge. The iconic US bridge. That gives you access to the temple. This was a two bridge in 1818 and ceased to be a two bridge in 1919. You can only get a great feather raft with both anyway unit price. Take this side of the river on the boardwalk, just on the right hand side. You stand where those men are standing, you have the complete archway, and then walk through the pedestrian archway right opposite, and you are walking in history, because that was a genuine medieval arch from the 17th century. Stop 24, guys.
Tire tracks and pair of shoes, and I'm sitting out Thank you very much. About 60 yards more exactly.
Ziemlich geil, weil das Between the viaduct to your train, where model steel rims crack, and the nature of that road stop.
Anche il mio, perché ti ho detto come
hamburger con patatas.
Manage the budget, what's the situation with our assets? C'est très sympa, t'as bien fait, c'était là de...
Maar hoe kan je mama schreeuwen als jij iets niet lekker vindt?
Komt wel eens op, maar...
Oh, hij mag gewoon niet.
Ja, ik denk een betere maken.
We gaan weer verder.
Ja, het is wel moeilijk.
Well, one of them at least is this idea that Latin wasn't very useful. That we should use the local languages. For the shooters, Henry VIII, that's England, okay? But we're in the 1500s here. The Irish people become majority
She's like,